I really feel like there should be some kind of runaway. Like, this game absolutely needs some kind of retreat mechanism. I actually have been trying to solve this problem. We're just going to roll Joanna again. I'm going to go Geomancy. Okay, grab that map. I'm only going to pick up one quest. It's straight up not worth it otherwise. Alright, what are you selling? Shut up. I should probably just turn that off. Anyway, buy the meat. Grab that. Sell the dagger? Oh, can't sell the dagger to him. Let's get out of here. Let's see. But so I've actually been trying to solve this problem in Dungeons and Dragons, where when playing D&D, most players will never ever run away. How many of you guys play D&D, and how often have you actually fled combat? The answer is almost never, as far as I know, for most people. It's just not something that anybody even thinks of doing. You know, combat is supposed to be designed for you to win. And if you aren't winning a fight, then it's probably because either you did something stupid, RNG's against you, or either you did something stupid, RNG's against you, or you just have a bad DM. And that's pretty much just how it always boils down. And so for this game, it's not like that. Some fights you just cannot win without scum and cheatery and blah blah blah. And hence why I tend to go magic instead. And so one of my solutions-ish... Do I have another skill point? I do. Stone spikes? Do stone armor, but let's do stone spikes. Okay. Runic boulders seem like they're going to be kind of fun. They certainly do a lot of damage, and knockback is a very real thing. Also, that is some serious impediment. I'm just going to sit here and rest right in the middle of my stone fort. Anywho, let's see. But yeah, so I've been trying to solve the problem of, like, if my players are ever put in a situation where they're absolutely bone zoned, how do I fix it? Well, he got messed up by that bear trap. Better him than me. It looks like these freaking stone things are obscenely strong. Now, how do I cancel them? How long do they last? Ah, have to right-click, destroy the boulder. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more energy-intensive than my pyromancy build. For better or worse. I need to get a bow. I think I hit myself with that one. Seems like bow would be the right way to do this. Is it dead? No, it's not dead. Shoot. Ring around the bolt. Shoot. I'm out of juice. Alright. So far, kind of okay. Wolves still suck. I think my main problem is going to be just the runic boulders hurt my energy generation. Which works for short battles. Doesn't work super well for long fights. Okay, so destroying a useless boulder does not take energy. That's good. So I'm just going to... Oh, come on. I'm gonna get killed by wolves. This is... I see where Geomancy could be good. The problem is the -2 energy per turn per runic boulder. And that energy cost is way too high. Maybe stuff like petrification could make it work. But it absolutely seems like something you'd have to... It absolutely seems like something you'd have to spec into later, not first. I could see pyromancy with a light geomancy just for the knockback could work. Or archery with geomancy working, but... starting geomancy, you just don't have enough damage output to deal with more than, like, one target at a time. So, back to being my usual pyromancy self. Let's see. Usually have some Deus Ex Machina level playing the field, but it costs the character something. See, my problem is, like, I've been in the perspective of, like, Deus Ex Machina saving my ass in these games before. And it never feels great. The only game I've ever played that made, like, my character not just dying from combat feel right was actually Outward. Mainly because Outward was just like, oh, you just got messed up by, the enemies. Oh, well, you know, you wake up in a cave somewhere with, like, an injury or something like that. You're right, I do have one more perk. I'm just gonna go for Blaze. Oh, right, gotta go talk to the old man. Oh, anywho, so, like, I was in a D&D campaign a while back. Let's do Bandit's Den. D&D campaign a while back. My brother was DMing, and it was decent campaign, but we were up against liches that were just sending an army of undead across everywhere. Nobody, and I mean nobody else was, like, standing up to them. And we get to this point where we know that the big bad lich is gonna effectively do something truly heinous. X number of days in. And the time limit, more or less, like, we reached it and we're like, oh, shoot. Oh, damn it. Alright, whatever. We hit the time limit and it was just kind of like, alright, well, we need to do something now, otherwise everyone is doomed. And I truly have no idea what my brother had been planning as the DM. Because, like, it truly seemed like the lose condition was right there. And we were effectively about to lose the campaign. Or more or less put ourselves into such a bad situation we were never going to be able to come back from it. And so we were trying to go appeal to the Cloud Giants for help, because they were the only sympathetic, like, NPC group that we even knew of. And on the road to the Cloud Giants wherever, and we're only like level 6 or something like that. We're not actually that strong. So, kind of needed the Cloud Giants to save our butts. Another freaking Lich that we kind of vaguely knew of just shows up and effectively one-shots my character, who is the only fighter. We straight up had a pacifist in our party that we didn't know, because he didn't tell us. But, like, I get one-shot straight up by not even the Lich. I got one-shot by the horse, whatever the nightmare that it was riding. And I was just kind of like, man, this doesn't feel good. I guess I'll be back when this is over. And effectively, the party just kind of gave the thing a runaround for a while before getting picked off one by one. And then a random Cloud Giant comes in to save our butts. And it was kind of like, so what was the point of this? To make the Cloud Giants seem cooler? And like, okay, I could kind of work with it just because, like... Why is it that I only sometimes walk diagonally? I have no idea. But yeah, I remember feeling fairly negative about the whole experience because it was just kind of like, well, that wasn't really an encounter, that was just me getting wharfed for the sake of the big bad, looking bigger and badder, which, you know, okay, that kind of has to happen. You can't just have the big bad be a pushover the first time you meet him. But this was like mid-boss levels of big bad, and we were due for a mid-boss anyway, so it's just like, well, oh, alright, I guess we failed that one. And then, yeah, we get saved by it, and more or less we're told, like, yeah, we have to go stop this Lich immediately, and we sneak off to go stop the main Lich, not the secondary Lich that just wiped the whole party. We had to go kill the big guy with the help of the singular Cloud Giant, because all the other Cloud Giants were too busy or too pacifistic to help. I'm not entirely sure what the deal was, but effectively we get there, we find out that the party cleric is a pacifist and will not be helping us. In fact, he straight up shows up mid-combat and is like, by the way, I don't actually want to fight you, blah, blah, blah. And it was just kind of like, oh boy. And my character was already quite dead at that point. I had gotten prismatic sprayed right off the bat. And so, of course, the Cloud Giants that saved our asses earlier went off and aced the final boss with a little bit of help from the rest of us, but definitely not, like, enough. And I just remember being very frustrated, disappointed, whatever, because it's like, none of this felt like I had any control over the situation. I was just kind of along for the ride. I mean, partly because I spent both encounters unconscious and or dead. But in either situations, it felt like I could run away either. And so I want to make sure that oh, there's a snake, that's why I'm moving really slowly. That's why I want to make sure that, like, all of my future players, for example, have an option to run away in some kind of... like, they feel like they have that option, that they're not forced to fight the big bad. That even if they do fight the big bad, the reason why the big bad would have to leave, you know, mid-fight would make sense. Because I don't want to put people through that same level of, like, negativity, I guess. Getting them to use it proves challenging. True. But I was thinking about, like, this mid-combat, and it's like, okay, what if your party is actually injured and surrounded and whatnot? Can they run away? What happens? And so I was reading a bunch of, like, different DMs' advice on, like, how to handle retreat, and the answer is, like, one person just said, retreat always works, but there's consequences, which I think that sort of thing can work rather well. Another one had it that, like, you effectively immediately reroll initiative with advantage, and all players that are retreating get, like, a huge movement speed bonus, but they lose that the moment they decide to attack in any kind of fashion. And I think that works better. For, like, a mid-combat escape. And kind of in a roundabout fashion, this game desperately needs that. If I am going to be sprinting away from dudes with weapons at full speed, they should either have no hope of catching me, or they have to be really fast. Because as it stands, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm surrounded, I'm already wounded, I can't run away from these people, I am just dead. And that never feels very good in a video game. It works well enough in, like, Dark Souls because you screwed up. I don't think it works very well in very slow Souls-likes, very slow roguelikes like this. Because we effectively spent... Yep. I mean, even this here is kind of frustrating. Because I can't stand and deliver, because I'm going to have to run away from these guys. The lack of movement tech is a bit rough, but, like, I spent half an hour clearing out a fortress very successfully. And then, what do you know, I get ambushed by 3 goons on the road and just die. Because, you know, I should have known, don't walk on the road. Because the road has these guys on them constantly. Okay, that should be enough. What happened to the rock run? I got killed by wolves. Just 2 wolves were enough to take me down. Which, like, I get it, and I appreciate having this game be that tough. It's just also kind of unsatisfying of just like, yeah, I'm gonna put a bunch of time into this game. And I can't make it past the first, like, half hour because random shit keeps killing me instead. Hence why I'm so anti-permadeath in games like this, where it's just like, I could sink hours and hours and hours into a product like this. But it's got to be at least somewhat worthwhile. And I think for a lot of people it is worthwhile. But for me, it drops off very quickly. I need that bow just for the range upgrade. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is gonna be hurty. Alright, and I have to hit him, because I can't even run away at this point. And we're okay. Let's see. Anything else? No, right. There's never any loot outside of these. Which means there's no container for me to store stuff in either. Alright, let's see how rough this goes. Well, it looks like I'm pretty much surrounded here. Or not surrounded. I guess I might as well just fight him. We know I can heal after this, and I brought plenty of food. I'm just gonna heal. 3-round cooldown on your main attack kinda sucks. It's okay. Once I have more spells, it's not so bad. All I need is 1 more level, and we'll pretty much have a big enough toolbox that I won't have to care, but yeah. The other thing I would say is, this is part of the reason why I think I'm such a huge proponent of meta progression. Ow. In my roguelikes. Because meta progression more or less makes up for... Oof. That's a bad one. Oh, close the door, you ninny. Meta progression always kind of solves... Let's see, mild head wound. I guess I'm just gonna hang out here. Do I get drunk? I guess we might as well use this. Oh, we have an enchantment scroll. I forgot this character starts with it. Let's enchant the ring. That is mostly useless, but whatever. Game likes to throw negatives at you. It's realistic, which You know, I can appreciate realism in games. It's just for like the first half hour, it's just kind of rough. Do we keep hanging out? How bad's the... No, actually, we can live with light intoxication. Okay. Should be enough. There we go. And we level up. Which means we get Flame Laser. Flame Laser solves problems. Slashing resistance is nice versus bandits. Yeah, but it's a 2%. That's such a small bonus. Can I... It was not letting me press the 2 button there for some reason. Very strange. There we go. And there's a bow. But no arrows! Because Homeboy didn't shoot at me, I don't get any arrows from him. Well, I guess I'll equip it anyway. Get that, and nag it. Hey! Okay. Anything else? Cheese! Hey, I like cheese. Does the dagger tree have any escape skills? I haven't looked into daggers that much. So far this game has next to nothing in that regard, honestly. Because you can't even use the charge skill to run away. So, no, doesn't look like it. Daggers are purely for surprise attacks, which are kind of pointless, because you really have to invest hard into moving silently to ever sneak up on anything. I'm not actually sure if this would work. I'm assuming the runaway skills are locked behind either the survival or most likely the athletics tree. But those don't exist. So, yeah. This game is, right now, purely do or die. You do it or you die. And more likely, you die. I've never seen anything not spot you from 2 miles away. I think it's just kind of a failing of early access that because there's they've only put in so much content to the game. There's going to be a lot of options and utility that we need that just isn't implemented yet, which sucks. I'll always be a proponent of early access as late into the process as you possibly can. I know a lot of developers like to rush into it for feedback, and I think that works. But, like, I definitely feel like this is one of those early access games that I just as gladly not play for a couple of weeks or a month or even a year and really wait for it to develop instead. Okay, there we go. I guess I'm gonna go up here and rest. See, archery has one disengage skill. Ooh. I still feel like every skill should have a disengage skill. Or disengaging at all should just be like a base thing that everybody can do. But like, you really can't use it tactically apart from piecing out. Because to do it is just too inconvenient to do anything else. See, early access like Kickstarters. If I see a game has potential, I'll buy it early access to support the game development. I guess. It's just... most people don't see it that way. And to some degree, I don't either. My main issue with early access is... you kind of are left with this, like, half-finished product that you just kind of stare at for a while. At least with a Kickstarter, like, it's not sitting there bothering you. Like, I'd rather have an Undungeon than a space-based DF9. Even though, like, I'm sure most people would actually prefer the space-based DF9. I'd rather know I got screwed entirely instead of, like, kind of this piddly half product instead. Because the piddly half product just always feels super crappy to me. You can hide games in your library, though. Yeah, but I can't hide it in my mind. What's a good example? I really like Cavern Kings, and it is going to be a perpetual disappointment of mine that the developers were not able to finish the game. And I get it, like, not every developer can. But it still makes me a bit sad, because that game was actually super fun, and having that, like, half-finished product sitting around, that one's kind of okay. But, like, that's why I bring up Space-Based EF9, because, like, at least with, like, a lot of other empty promise Kickstarters and whatever, you get this, like, kind of... let's see. You at least know that it, like, will never happen, so it doesn't have to occupy your brain space. When you play a really disappointing early access game that you were really looking forward to, then you have to live with the consequences. It's even worse when it's a Kickstarter game that goes early access on Steam and is just horse garbage. Easiest I can think of is, and I think it'll actually improve slowly, still. Oh, I think he died. But there was a game that came out recently in early access called RE Legend, which is a game that I'm actually still looking forward to when they finish it. But the closest I can compare it to is Rune Factory. And the game had a lot of promise. I played the alpha version, and it was fun. It was not anywhere close to done. And more or less, that alpha version was kind of better than the, oh, Brandy. That early access version was straight up better than the final release on, or the alpha version was better than the early access one, because it didn't have, like, just a bunch of horrible bugs. And so now I have this, like, oh shit, alright. Now I have this supply, or now I have this game sitting in my library that I really want to play again, because I wanted it to be good. But it's not quite there yet, and that bothers me, because now it's kind of like, well, what do I do? And the answer is, I just ignore it until it's better. Obviously, I don't have any other choice. But I would have rather that they had just waited, and I don't have this, like, mediocre thing. At least we didn't have to fight all these guys alongside the boss. That would have been rough. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here and rest. Should have done that from the start. I don't know. I have enough other games on my plate that I'd rather not have a half-finished one sitting there kind of bugging me for a while. I guess the other thing for me specifically is, you guys don't have to deal with it as much, but I get a lot of people that want me to go back to these games, and that is really hard on me. I don't do well with repetitive questions, and I don't do well with, like, people asking me, like, hey, Wander, are you gonna play this? Or, hey, Wander, when are you gonna go back to Scrap Mechanic? Scrap Mechanic, Scrap Mechanic. Scrap Mechanic, arrow by the stairs. I'll get it on the way out. I mean, it's only one arrow. It's almost not... It's worth picking up, but it's almost not worth picking up. And so, like, the more half-finished games that I've got sitting around that, like, are early access that have received a major update, you should go check it out, like, the more people I have asking me to go back to that. And I appreciate people being that exuberant, oops, about my content. And about, you know, series that I've done. Oh, God. Does that always make me bleed? I think it does. That sucks. Whatever, we'll have to buy more here. Somebody's noticed me. Oh, there you are. And I don't get a choice. I do not want to laser myself. Do I? Screw it. Ow. Okay, I know this is safe if I close the door. Let's just sit and heal for a little while. Oh, boy. Give DayZ a try again. I've never played DayZ. I have limited compunction to do so. It's hard to know if people have asked you or not. Don't watch the streams all the time. Oh no, I very, very much understand. Let's see. Spend your AP. There's like 0 point to it. Like, I'll invest in vitality, but stat points are basically nothing in this game. I also really do not need reminders for that, please. Kind of in the same manner. Like, I really don't do well with repeated questions. It's just some part of me that I just can't get past. Anyway, I was going to talk about this a little bit. I was actually watching a video on... Not Kojima. Oh, shoot. The lead dev over at Platinum Games, whose name I totally have forgotten right now, even though he's like one of my favorite developers. Kamiya. There we go. Hideki Kamiya. I love Hideki Kamiya. He's a great developer, but he's also a really weird dude. If you've never heard of him before, he makes great games, obviously. Pretty much anything that comes out of Platinum is gold. Even the, like, shitty games from Platinum are fairly alright. Just kind of disappointing because you'd expect better from them. Silver cutlery is actually worth a fair bit. More so than the rabbit skin. But, so Hideki Kamiya specifically bans people. And I think thus far he's banned 27-something thousand people. And that's as of, like, a couple months ago. But yeah, so... For those of you that aren't aware, Wonderful 101, they're doing a Wonderful 101 remaster Kickstarter going on right now, and I backed it for $100. And now, I believe I'm already banned by Hideki Kamiya. I haven't double-checked, but the last time I did, I was pretty sure I was. I don't know. I just remember checking once around, like, it was either during my Transformers Devastation series or my Nier Automata series, and I straight up, I couldn't see whatever he had posted, and so I'm like, oh... I guess I've been banned finally, too. Cool. But, so now I've backed it at the $100 tier, for the Wonderful 101 thing. So now I'm guaranteed to be banned. Blocked. From the guy's Twitter. Which, you know, obviously, normally would not like to be blocked by anybody, but at this point, I'm just accepting the meme. Because why not? So is he banning people for supporting a game? Blocking, technically. Not banning. Poor choice of words. But, so... I was watching a documentary on, finding out how many people he had blocked. As of, I think it was last August. It sounds dumb, to be honest. And most people would think... It is dumb. Like, why the hell would this guy block... especially so many people. And even he himself had, like, years ago said, like, you know, no, I don't block people, I don't want to. Yeah, you saw that video, it's pretty funny. It is pretty funny. It's a little drawn out, but it's a very good, I think there was a tier for him to unblock people, too. That's hilarious. Also, thank you, AJ Buddy, for the 19-month resub, and Acme Boy for the 21-month resub. Let's see, how's it going? Having 3 weeks of holidays from work. Are there any good games coming out this month that I should look out for? This month specifically, games that I'm really looking forward to, let's see, we can talk about that a little bit. So, today we specifically have, Shardstone, which is good, but I'd recommend waiting on it, and probably just picking up Dungeons of Dread more in the meantime. Just because Shardstone is going to invariably be better, but right now it's pretty rough. Just early access. There's Scourgebringer, which is kind of the opposite, where it's really tight, but content light. So there's only like 3 stages, and it needs a more interesting upgrade system to make it really sing. And then the third game I'm going to be playing tonight is called Kunai, which is really good Metroidvania. We'll see how that one goes. Otherwise, games that I'm really looking forward to. Next week, I'm really looking forward to Florence, maybe Wolson, and Daemon X Machina. And then, like, a week after that, we've got Skull the Hero Slayer, Dungeon Defenders Awakened, and not a whole lot out. Oh, right, Rune Factory Special. But yeah, in the next 3 weeks, tough. Dungeon Defenders is probably the one I'd recommend the most, just because you're going to get the most amount of bang for your buck and fun out of it. But I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mad about that game, so we'll see how that one goes. Otherwise, unfortunately, February is kind of a crappy month right now. Like, this month is terrible for new releases. It's this week, and then, like, a little bit next week, and then a little bit the week after that. And then March is really when there's going to be a lot of really good games. I don't know. Sorry I can't be more helpful. There's a lot of great games we can sit down and actually take a look at games being worth picking up. I could try Warcraft 3 Reforged, but that's been done so well. Ugh. Shell was really stoked for that. She really wanted me to play Warcraft Reforged because she's never actually seen the game's story, and she's a really big Warcraft buff. And so yeah, finding out about how busted it is, I was just like, heck no, I'm not going to touch that until they fix it. And Shell looked at it and is like, it just looks bad. Validating for me. Anywho. Let's see. But yeah, as far as games that I'll have to see by the end of the night, but Kunai might be the only one that I'd say is truly worth picking up immediately. Okay. Let's see, do we want to do mysterious disappearances or stolen goods? Let's do disappearances. I believe this is zombies. Okay. And let's go. I loved the original Warcraft 3. That was my childhood. Yeah, I absolutely adored Warcraft 3 when it was originally out. Like, Warcraft 3 was such a genius game back in the day. It still is to some degree. I can sell this dude booze. Have fun with your booze, man. Okay, probably fine on food. We have a lot of splints. Should probably go find a bandage. Who would sell bandages? I actually don't know that one. Maybe the tailor? Let's try this guy. This guy might have medical supplies. Nope. He's got snacks. And very, very little of it. He does have Staves treaties. I do not know where I picked up that mug. Let's sell our Stardust, too. I don't think we need that. Or the Agate. Yeah, do I want to pick up... probably not. That's going to be most of my money. Herbalist shop, south side of town. Gotcha. Let's buy that. We still have 2 bandages, so it's not so bad. Ooh. He sells enchantment scrolls. Considering I have no other use for money right now that I know of, I might as well. Okay, that's good. Let's go refill our water and let's go out of here. Okay, let's see. So I was going to finish the thing on Hideki Kamiya just before we go too far away. So specifically, I was watching the pseudo-documentary on the guy, and it was not necessarily the most in-depth about him, but I was talking about why he blocks so many people on Twitter, And it's that he really does not appreciate repetitive questions, which I can entirely appreciate. Just because I don't really like answering, why I don't play Scrap Mechanic anymore. Even though I will, just so people stop bothering me about it. But it's kind of one of those where it's like, if there was some way for me to disseminate information in such a way that everybody would be able to see a giant list of frequently asked questions. If I could have a fact page that people looked at, I would gladly put one up. Let's see. I'll keep 2 splints on me, I think. Yeah, no. I'll be fine without. Alright, let's rest until the next morning. We'll go from there. Hey, thank you, Crimson Crucible, for the 2-month free sub. Thank you. And people just ask super weird questions of Kamiya that are rude or insensitive. True. And yeah, even if I had that fact page, people would still not look. And that puts me in this kind of weird tight position where I record almost all of my content for both Twitch and YouTube. And for YouTube, it's not so bad. But, like, each on their own, it's not so... no, it's pretty bad on both. It's not always the worst, but, like, I've definitely... I mean, even tonight, I'm having people reminding me to drink, to bandage my wounds, to sell stuff at the tailor. And it's like, I don't really need that information. And it gets kind of frustrating when that's the only information being chucked at me. It's like, hey, you should do this thing. And it's like, let's see. Yeah, don't forget to breathe. True. Let's see. Oh, boy. Let's hope the rain goes away before I'm done. But it's kind of that mixture of low-level information exchange that I don't actually really appreciate. I prefer to actually have long, in-depth conversations about game mechanics or game design, or just any number of things. And I'm probably going to get ganked here, so let's cut south. Well, there's a busted cart. We have wolves. Problem is, I don't really like wolves in this context. They take less damage, which means all of my fire spells are pretty much useless here. And wolves are tough bastards. Fight them in melee. We just sit here and rest and hope the rain goes away. It's not. Let's see. Is that truly a reason to instant block without saying a word? It's... Oh. Looks like they messed up the banditos for me. Perfect. Oh, I am thirsty. I might have to fight this wolf hand-to-hand. In fact, it's guaranteed I'm going to have to. I can still do a decent amount to it. Okay. One more wolf. And those guys. Shit. Fight each other, please? Thank you. I'm just gonna let them be over there. I will take that money, and then we're just gonna bail.